up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coyote Car Channel.
What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to show you how to change a flat tire if you're stuck on the side of the road or if you're just sitting at home. So if you're stuck on the side of the road right now, I'm going to give you a quick time. So go into the description and you will see the time that you need to go to so you can find out what to do if it's an emergency and you blew your tire on the side of the road. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. That's what keeps this channel alive. So the first thing you're going to need to know is what tools you need to use. If you're working at home or if you're on the side of the road, you've got your basic tire iron, a set of sockets, an Allen wrench to remove those wheel covers, and sometimes you need one of these specialty keys. Sometimes they've got these special keyways on them, like that, so people can't steal your wheels. If you look in your glove box, if you have any of these wheels, you'll have a socket that'll work with that. If you don't want to sit on the side of the road waiting for the AAA guy to get there to help air up your tire or give you a new tire, you can change out your own. My old 73 Dart, even when you turn to the first page in the index, has a section on how to change the wheel. Also, if you're working at home, it's really nice to have one of these jacks that you can just get under there and jack it up. It makes life a lot easier instead of having to use the one that comes with the car that you have to crank to get it to go all the way up and then crank to get it to go all the way back down. This one you can just pump up with hydraulic pressure and then release it and it'll go back down to where it needs to be. If you're working at home or you are on the side of the road, the next thing you need to know is where to jack up the vehicle with the jack once you've located it. Now on a truck like this is my 97 Dodge Ram, you can just put it on these frame rails, but most cars and trucks have these sort of pinches where they've warped the metal to come up and around so you have different points to lift up the vehicle, and that's just to strengthen the sheet metal. And if you're doing this at home, it's always a good idea to put on the e-brake and throw a chock behind the wheel. Then it's just a matter of jacking the vehicle up. Like I said earlier, sometimes you have to use an Allen key. On these centerline wheels, I have to use the Allen key to remove the plate here. Not all cars have the hub covers with the Allen key bolts, but some do. So the next thing you need to do is you need to figure out which size socket. In this case, it ends up being a 13/16 socket to remove your nuts. In my case, since I'm not on the side of the road, I'm going to be using my air impact wrench to remove the nuts. It's a lot quicker, and I really suggest you get one if you want to start working on cars. When you remove these nuts, you want to remove them in a crisscross pattern. That way the weight is distributed evenly. So let's say you start on this corner here, you want to move down to the one across from it, furthest away from it. And then again with the next, the next, and the next, forming a star. Then you want to remove the wheel. Put the old one back on. So then once you get it on there, what you want to do is you want to start one of the nuts. Going across from it. You want to start the threads, because if you don't start them and you just put one on there barely and then you hit it with the air gun, you could cross thread. Then that would mean you'd have to replace the stud the nut threads onto. And once you get the last one on, you take your air impact wrench and you tighten it down. That's a lot faster than doing it by hand, and that should get you down the road. But if you want to be really safe, you'll get a torque wrench. Now this one calls for 105 foot-pounds of torque. So I'm just going to tighten these down in a crisscross pattern. And then just replace the hubcap. And there you have it. We've replaced the wheel using our tools at our house.
First things first. If you need to change your tire, first thing you do, your brake.
The reason why I have my son doing this also is to show just how easy it is and that you don't actually have to call AAA or some kind of car company to come out and help you. So the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you're on a level surface, and you need to apply the e-brake. Now the e-brake will either be located right here or down there on the floor as a pedal. And you want to make sure that that's on, and you want to make sure that you put the vehicle into park. Sometimes the shifter is here. So the next thing you need to do
And here. First in here.
is you need to look for your jack that comes with the car. Sometimes the jack will be located under a panel like this where you have some clips that you just need to twist and pull up. Other times you'll have a spare tire that's sitting right here, and it'll be underneath or on top of that tire, and that's the first thing you need to get to. What we have here is we have the actual jack mechanism, and we have the tire iron that also doubles for cranking the jack up.
These two things are all you need.
What do we have? A tire iron?
Yeah.
Cool. We have the jack and the tire iron. The first thing you want to do is you want to start jacking up the jack by putting this hook inside of this hole and turning it clockwise to go up. When you're doing this, you want to find one of these pinch welds where they've kind of widened out the surface like this, and you want to put it right on there and then just keep jacking it up. Before you get the car completely off the ground, you want to keep the tires on the ground, and you want to loosen all of the lug nuts by hand to kind of break them free, because the wheel could spin when you have it up in the air. Then once you have the vehicle completely lifted, you want to remove those bolts the rest of the way. Then all you have to do is just pull the old wheel off, get it out of the way, get your new wheel, put it in place, line up the studs, and start your bolt. Once you get all the lug nuts on, you want to tighten them down by hand, and then you want to give them a little bit of a turn with your crowbar, just until you can tighten them down enough that the wheel starts to turn a little bit. Once that happens, then you'll set the car down. Last thing you want to do once you get it all the way on the ground and flat so the tire can't move and you have the jack out from under it, is you want to take each ring, each lug nut, and you want to tighten it down pretty tight. You want to do it in a crisscross pattern, so you're forming a star. And then when you're all done with that, the last thing you got to do is drive to your local tire shop and make sure that they torque all these lug nuts down to specification. And that's it. Now you've changed your own tire.